Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Our guest today is a down-to-earth, out-of-the-box clairvoyant medium, multiple-time award-winning author, inspirational speaker, teacher, and thought leader, who is dedicated to guiding you through this experience called life. And today she's going to show you how a clairvoyant medium can help you overcome self-sabotage. So please put your hands together and help us welcome to the Mental Detox podcast our good friend, Katrina Jane. Welcome.
Welcome, Katrina.
Hey, I'm very impressed with myself with that introduction. Thank you.
Well, from stalking you, from going to your Facebook pages, your website, this is just a fraction of what we could have put.
It is actually.
Yeah, we went to your website and I say to Daniel, we need to get this lady on our show. I know that you have been a lot in your lifetime. You know, you were adopted.
Yes.
Your parents separated at age 5. Your father committed suicide when you were 15. How did you manage to overcome those obstacles and achieve such a great success? It's a phenomenal story.
It's a huge story. Like that's a few, as I think that's just a few of the things that have happened to me in my lifetime. Yeah. But out of all of that, I'm a firm believer, and I've come to believe like this. This is not something that you instantly know. Everything is a process in life. But one of the main things that I've learned is that we too often focus on what our lives should be like, as opposed to accepting what our lives actually are. And I think we create a lot of angst within ourselves because we're not meeting some invisible criteria that we think we should each, be achieving, and we're comparing ourselves to other people, and they're walking a completely different path to you and to me and to everybody else. And having said that, I'm not saying people should just sit there and go, oh, well, this is my life, so be it. I'm not going to do anything now, just, suck it up. You still improve yourself, but you don't have that, oh, poor me, it's not fair. Life's, why is life treating me like this? And yeah, I've been through some horrendous things in my life. But if I hadn't have gone through all those things, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I would not in any way, shape or form turn around and say, I wish that hadn't happened. Because if it hadn't happened, who would we be? And, another thing that I have found and that I had to stop doing myself is to accept that whatever decisions I have made in life, I made them to the best of my ability at that point in time. You can't go, oh, but if only I had, if only, because, you didn't know. You know things as you go along and you go, oh, if only I'd make that decision. But you made the best decision at that point in time, and you just have to accept that's it. 100%. You can't beat yourself up from it. You've got to learn from mistakes. If you made a mistake, you go, well, okay, I went out with that dickhead, and I shouldn't have, but I can now pick a dickhead much better than what I used to, and that's to me, like, and I'm learning from those mistakes, I'm learning from them. And, one of the hardest things I personally have ever gone through is depression. I was actually suicidal about 4 years ago. And for anyone who has suffered depression, they know you just go into this hole and it is so hard to get out of it. But the one thing I did was I sought professional help. First thing you do, go and seek professional help. Talk to people, talk to a professional, because I know we don't want to burden our friends and family, but they also don't really know how to help.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas a professional can go, okay, you need to take this step, or you need to do this, and how about you look at things differently? Whereas our friends and family go, oh no, everything's fine, you're going to be fine, and that's just not what we hear.
It's like taking financial advice from your Uber driver who's trying to flog your Bitcoin.
Yes, that's exactly
I don't ask my doctor about marketing advice.
No, that's it. Yeah. But in the grips of depression, I actually sat down and went, right, I need to learn from this. How do I get out of this? So like I said, I sought professional help, and I worked damn hard, and I read and I learned and I experienced, and I just, every day I just wake up and go, I'm okay. I wasn't okay. I was an absolute mess, but I'm okay. It's going to be okay. I'm going to get through this. And I'd say that to myself like 1,000 times a day. And then one day I was sitting on the lounge and I went, I'm okay. I've got this. And I went, you know what? I actually think I am okay. I'm actually on the other side of that, you know, and climbing out of that hole. But again, I would never, ever, ever go, I wish I hadn't gone through that.
We had a client of ours on the Mental Detox podcast last week, Martina, and something that you said at the start there was just in alignment with what she had been through. Her family had compared her results against the results of her. Is your dad in the room?
Yeah. The nose is going, isn't it?
The spirits have arrived.
The spirits have arrived. The spooks are here.
Her parents had compared her results against her brothers and sisters, but they were 10 years older. And for her, as the child, she never felt that she'd ever achieved enough. And I just love how you've put it there. We can't compare ourselves against each other. We are not on the same path. It doesn't matter if we've got the same goal. We're not on the same path.
That's what we've had, different experiences. And you look at your brothers and sisters and how you view childhood, and how you view your childhood will be different to how they view their childhood. Well, even though you've had technically the same childhood.
my brother, we had to wear Dunlop volleys because that's all mum and dad would budget for. And so he never got Reebok pumps. So as a 40-year-old man, he's constantly buying Reebok pumps. And he says, I never got the Reebok pumps. And I said, well, I had Dunlop volleys and they were fine because all I remember, my foot grew so fast that I needed a new pair every 6 months.
That's it. That's absolutely right. That's right. To me, and that's it. Different experiences, because we're all different people. We all have different energies, and our purpose in this life is all different.
I think that's such a good reminder to a lot of us, you know, even to me, because I'm in some way I kind of competitive in I don't know, like I always compare myself to my husband. That's really funny.
Yes.
Because we're in a very similar position, like doing the business. And I always like, oh, what if I didn't do good enough as my husband? And then that's really, you know, beat me up. And Daniel will sometimes remind me, it's like, don't compare yourself to me, because we're in a different level. So I think when you say, I think that's such a good reminder to us and to our audience as well.
Yes. And even though if you were both at exactly the same level of business experience and everything, you would still both do it your individual way. Do you mean? Like everybody has a story to bring to the world. And it doesn't matter if people go, oh, we've heard it before, but you haven't heard it from me. You haven't heard my version.
We have a friend and a client named Lincoln Innes. And when he was in his late teens, he jumped in the water, landed head first, almost broke his neck. He went back to the beach, jumped in the water head first, broke his neck, and now he's in a wheelchair. And I would have learned more from Lincoln than he ever learned from me, because he's come and taken my courses. But I look at him and I think, what a great sacrifice you have made for our soul group, or this group that's going through life together, to be able to learn resiliency from you, to be able to learn to, you know, get knocked down and to get back up in your own way and to keep moving forward. And I look at him and I go, wow, I've learned so much from his experience. I'm glad it didn't happen to me, but thank God I can learn from him. And it's a totally different experience. And he takes it just as part of his life's journey. He rolls with it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to bother him. I think other people have more of a problem with it than he does at times. He's just like, well, that's my life path. It's my journey. I've got to deal with it.
But see, he's doing that thing. It's like, well, you know, I might have thought my life should be this way, and now it's not, but that doesn't mean that what I've got now is worse. Who knows what could have happened to him if he hadn't had that accident.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things you say is that everyone is wondering what's their next step in life and what should it be. And what we say here is that you often talk to people about their health, their career, their love and their finances. And sometimes you speak to people who are just simply grieving and they can't cope. From the work that you've done, can you share some insights on how you work with people as a clairvoyant medium and to help them address some of these challenges, including self-sabotage?
Sure. Well, firstly, when you have a reading with me, if you're having a telephone or Skype reading, it's exactly like what we're doing here. It's just a chat. Like that's how I say it. It's not this big spooky thing. It's just a chat. And I'm that 2 that smacks you over the back of the head. Okay, that's what because that's what a lot of people need. They don't want to like listen to the friends and family, you know, the Uber driver. But sometimes you want someone who's got no idea of your life in you know, a sense, and you can sit there and go, so why are you doing X, Y, Z all the time? And I'll go, oh, like, how do you know that? And, you know, and, oh, yeah, okay. You know that what you're doing is a habit, or, you know, what you've done is because, you know, your parents did X, Y, Z. And I can actually point it out to them. They can actually stop and listen, you know, and it gives them just that bit of clarity because it's coming from somebody they don't know. And I'm not just going to give people, and I'll say this up front, I don't always tell you what you want to hear. I give you what I'm being told to tell you. So don't come to a reading thinking, great, she's going to tell me I'm going to be a famous singer and then I'm going to, you know, be a multi-billionaire. And it's like, no, I'll say, well, actually, no, you know, you're going to be doing X, Y, Z. And sometimes people don't like that.
Well, I know that's true for Nini because here in Taiwan, she will always go down to the Buddha and she'll do her prayers and she'll ask the Buddha for the blessing. And I watch her. She'll ask for the blessing, and if the Buddha says no, she quickly picks up, repeats the prayer, throws it down. If she gets another no, the body tenses up, and then she goes, "Okay, let's go."
At least I have three times, okay, three chances.
And then she says, "Let's go to the next temple." And she'll go to the Tudi Gong, the Buddha down the street, and he'll tell her no, no, and no. Yes. And then I'll say to her, "Does the Buddha keep laughing at you?" And she, so I get what you're saying.
Look, you know, I've done the tarot card. I pull a tarot card for myself and pull out a card. I don't want that one. Shuffle the cards. Pull out the same card. No, don't want that one. Shuffle. Pull out the cards. Same card. Damn you! It's not the one I want, but it's the message. The other thing I think too, just in regards to, so that can be do with everything. Like, see, I have done readings for people where I've literally sat down and done an entire business plan for them. I've got do you got to do this, you got to do that, this is what you got to do first, or, you know, one of the funniest, you want a really quick funny story?
Absolutely.
I had this lovely young guy come to, he was built, he's probably like 19, 20, he's coming for this reading, and we're going through the reading and I'm going, how do I discuss this, you know? And so because I record the reading, and I turned the recorder on pause, and I went, is your mum going to listen to this? And he went, yeah, probably. I said, you want to be a male prostitute, don't you? And he went, oh my God, how do you know that? And to me, and I was just like, oh, I said, you and your mate want to go in together. And he's going, oh my, this is just like so effing weird that you're talking to me about this. And I just went, look, I have to give you this information because I can't dictate what I get given. But I'll refer to it as.
But he was going to dictate as a male prostitute.
Yeah, they're literally bullshit. And I just said to him, it's going to be referred to as the business. So you can tell your mum it can be any business that you want to think of. But so I had to sit down and do this whole business plan as a male prostitute, what he needed to do.
Brilliant.
Well, you know, it is one of the oldest professions there in life. It's been around for 6,000 years, just like pawnbroking. And our family was in the pawnbroking business, and people said, that's dirty. And I said, well, the prostitute up the road, she's making money, so should we.
That's it. Another thing too, just with the self-sabotage in a slightly different context, when we lose somebody that we love, we can always beat ourselves up, you know, why, you know, especially if say suicide, or, you know, why wasn't I there for them? Why didn't I say I should have done this more? I didn't realize, you know, my dad was going to die of a heart attack. I should have. And again, you start doing the beating up, this constant thing, and being able to connect with the loved ones in the spirit world allows people to have that bit of closure. And I think that's really important, you know, that we can stop doing that. And one thing I always mention to people is that once we've died, we're actually not human anymore. We don't have human frailties. I've got no more debts. No, that's it. You know, but we don't even think like humans. Do you mean, like, because we're just the spirit, you know? And so they, in the spirit world, they're not, how dare I have died, or why did this happen to me? Like, they go, oh, okay, that's the way it happened. They got that philosophy of, that was the life, and oh shit, I didn't learn that lesson, I'm gonna have to come back and do that one again, you know. But they just don't have that attachment to things. They don't like seeing us grieving, you know, and really upset and not being able to move on. But again, for us, that's our journey, and it's a part, you know, do we learn from it, or do we come back and do it all again?
I agree. I think sometimes people are very joyful when they cross over.
Yes,
no more mortgages, no more bills. The bank can take care of the credit card from
I don't have all that human stuff to worry about.
No more starting the day at 9 o'clock and finishing at 5 and working for the weekend.
That's true. That's true.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
I could just pop in and scare the bejeebers out of all my family.
Yeah. Come and annoy them on their nose.
Yeah, come and annoy them on their nose. My dad, my nose. Like, oh, I'll go up and do talks, live shows, and I've got to stand and go, oh my God, Dad's around.
Crazy. So Katrina, I know that how could our friends and the follower work with you to stop self-sabotage and improve their lives? I know that I'm gonna book you in after we have our calls, but for our followers, how could they do to work with you to stop self-sabotage?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you can book it. I do emailed readings, telephone, Skype. I do a number of different types of readings. So you can pick whatever you want. The main thing is you've got to be open to the information that's given you. Like I said before, you can't be closed off and think, okay, I want to fix this. Okay, I want to fix my weight problem. Right. Well, first you've got to stop putting shit in your mouth. No, I don't want to have to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to take some responsibility in your life and be willing to make the change. You've got to be really, really wanting to do it. Otherwise, it's just going to be another failed thing that you've tried. Okay. So if you're self-sabotaging in any area of your life, I can give you guidance and I can give information that's outside the square that you might not even have thought about. An example is I did a reading for a guy and he was a helicopter pilot and he wanted to get out of that industry. And I just said to him, okay, so what do you want to be in? And he goes, well, I don't know. I'm just, all I know is being a helicopter pilot. And I said, no, you need to sit down and write all your skills. Like you can, quick thinking, you've got, and all the skills that you need to be a helicopter pilot. And then you take that and go, okay, what else can I do that incorporates those skills? And he went, I didn't even think of that. Because he's just, we become, can't see the forest for the trees. I'm just so focused on, I am a helicopter pilot. That's all I can do. So that's what I do is I'll go, why aren't you doing this? Or why aren't you doing that? And and they'll go, oh, people go, oh my God, yeah, okay, I never thought of that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just helping you think outside the square.
Beautiful.
I love it. So for the people who want to book in a reading with you, going to your website, katrina-jane.com, they can learn about what you do, why you do it, and where to book in. And we highly recommend it. I know that Ninny will quickly get out my credit card. Maybe she's already booked it in. She hasn't told me.
Not yet.
But she will. So Katrina, thank you so much for sharing your time, your energy, your insights. And for our clients, our followers and friends, head over there now and you can see that she's not just another clairvoyant. She's more than a clairvoyant, and you're going to get some great insights. So we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, and we'll talk to you shortly. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.